My name is Elder Ati E. Esang, the Village Council Chairman of EYUSOYO Village. Here with me are Chief Edebasi Okpikit, Acting Village Head and Family Head of EYUPikit, Chief Mfon Eyo, Family Head of EYUYO, Chief Okon Emmanuel Akadu, Family Head of Eyo Akadu, and Elder Okun Oyunu Moisang, the Family Head of Eyo Ebiafie. The purpose of this press conference is simply the forceful sighting of an army barracks in our community, EYUSOYO village. To expand this meeting, I will now read the text of the press conference. Outright rejection of the forceful sighting of an army barrack in EYUSOYO village, EYULORO, Urefonruko local government area. Distinguished members of the press, our revered traditional rulers, Father, the youths and women of our community, respected stakeholders, representatives from governors and government, civil society, and the general public. We, the people of EYUSOYO village in EYULORO, are here before you today, not in quiet appeal, but in firm resistance. This press conference is convened to categorically condemn, reject, and resist the forceful and unjust attempt to impose an army barracks within our ancestral land, EYUSOYO, without consultation, without consent, and without regard for the survival of our people. Before we proceed, it is important to inform the public that EYULORO village in Urefonruko local government area is a primary locality made up of 3 sub-primary localities, namely EYUFUO, EYULODO, and EYUSOYO. The entire landmass of EYULORO village is approximately 3.18 million square meters, with 1. EYUFUO covering the total of 1,700,000 square meters approximately. EYULODO 929,000 square meter approximated, and EYUSOYO 700,000 square meters approximated too. The 3 localities are areas with nearly clearly defined boundaries and have coexisted independently with separate leadership structures and agricultural activities, but come together as EYULORO village only on issues of collective sentiment and mutual understandings. It is also pertinent to inform the public that EYULORO village is an agrarian and patrilineal community with a village headship rotational among the 3 sub-primary localities. It is also imperative to intimate the public that EYUSOYO, being the smallest and unit of EYULORO village with an approximated landmass of 700,000 square meters, had already donated a greater portion for public good, including the establishment of government primary school, EYULORO, that was established in 1957. What is now left is a residential settlement and a very small portion that has sustained generation through agriculture, a primary and, in many cases, only source of livelihood. From time immemorial, EYUSOYO village and people have remained focused, peaceful, and law-abiding until the recent shocking development where our son, the executive chairman of Urefongorugo local government, an indigene of Eyuloro, Right Honorable Unetum Uno, woke the entire community with a troop of military personnel to forcefully take over our only farmland for the establishment of an army barracks. Again, for clarity of purpose, this action is a total nightmare because nobody has ever consulted the stakeholders of our community to discuss about such development, talk less of conducting a proper environmental impact assessment in accordance with the military modus operandi. Let it be placed clearly on record, EYUSOYO is not an empty space. EYUSOYO is not an expanded settlement. EYUSOYO has no space for expansion and resettlement. And now we are confronted with a proposal that defies logic, justice, and humility. The siting of a full-scale army barrack within this already constrained community is not governance. It is neither a support nor encouragement. It is a tactful and calculated disposition. Furthermore, we state without ambiguity that we reject this proposal in its entirety. Our rejection is not emotional, it is factual, rational, and necessary based on the following grounds. First, the imposition of military barrack on the limited remaining land of EYUSOYO is direct assault on our means of survival. Farming is not a supplementary activity. It is life itself. To take away our farmland is to deliberately engineer poverty, hunger, and generational displacement. Second, the process leading to this proposal is deeply flawed and under-democratic. The chairman of Urefongorugo local government has completely failed in his duty of representation. As a son of Eyuloro, he is fully aware of the limitation and sensitivities of this land, yet he has chosen a path of exclusion and silence. Perhaps there might be an old score of presumptions he is settling. Repeated efforts by community leaders, elders, and concerned stakeholders to seek dialogue have been met with deliberate avoidance. Meetings have been denied. Access has been blocked. Communication has been ignored. This is not leadership. This is imposition. Third, the proposed location itself raised serious and unavoidably concerned about safety and society stability. Placing a military barrack in a small rural agrarian community like EYUSOYO not only inappropriate, it is reckless. Experience and precedents have shown that poorly sited military formation can lead to increase of friction between civilian and armed personnel, disruption of peaceful rural life and traditional structures, the emergence of antisocial behaviors that undermine community cohesion, pressures, and already limited infrastructure, land and resources. EYUSOYO is not designed socially, economically, or to absorb such a structure without severe and irresistible consequences. Let it also be clearly stated, Urefongorugo local government is not lacking in land. With 36 villages spread across 6 districts, including expansive and less inhabited with areas, it is both unjustifiable and suspicious that EYUSOYO, one of the smallest and most land-constrained community, is being targeted for such a massive project. Why EYUSOYO? The question is, why EYUSOYO? Why this forced concentration? Why this refusal to consult? These are questions that demand answers. We are not opposed to national security. We are not opposed to development, but we are firmly opposed to development that destroys the very people it claims to serve. Development must not be a disguise for displacement. Security must not come at the cost of our survival. Therefore, we issue the following demand. A. Immediate suspension of all plans to site an army barrack in EYUSOYO village. Full transparency regarding the decision-making progress that led to this proposal. Inclusive consultation with the people of EYUSOYO and EYULORO before any further action is taken. Independent assessment to identify more sustainable location within the local government area. We called on the governor of Akwa Ibom State, the Federal Ministry of Defense, the National Assembly, human rights organizations and civil service, traditional institutions, and all well-meaning Nigerians to urgently intervene and prevent what can only be described as an impending injustice. Finally, we say this directly to Mr. Chairman and our son, Chief Uno Edmono. Leadership is a trust, not a tool for imposition. Representation is a duty, not a privilege to be abused. You cannot claim to serve a people while actively working against their survival. The people of EYUSOYO will not be silent. We will not be ignored, and we will not surrender our land, because our livelihood and our future without lawful resistance. This is not just about land. This is about injustice. This is about survival. And this is about future of generation yet unborn. We stand united as a community. We stand resolute, and we demand to be heard.
Village in Urefongorugo, in EYULORO, in Urefongorugo, is what I may say is the smallest village. It's the smallest community. As you can see, EYULORO, as we all know, is just the umbrella community. So we have EYUFO, we have EYULOTO, we have EYUSOYO. And this EYUSOYO is the smallest. And far back, 1957, they had taken part of our land here in EYUSOYO to site the government primary school that has produced so many people, professors and whatever people we can mention. So it is our land that was taken during that time to establish that primary school, the primary school that is going to serve until Jesus Christ comes. So as you can see, we live in a very compact settlement, very compact settlement, and it's a conspicuous community. There is no space for expansion. Just by my immediate right here is Urefong. Just by my immediate right here is Oyubia village. This other side is EYUFO in EYULO. This other side is EYULODO in EYULO. So EYUSOYO is just like this. It's a small village that you can just do a small marathon and you turn around. So for many years, we were all born here, we are bred here, we have never seen our fathers. And we did not hear from our fathers that our forefathers had any land dispute, any communal issues or disputes. They have lived together as brothers for years, for decades. And we came also to imbibe the same principle. We live together in peace. There had never been any tension in this community. Even at my age, I'm over 40, I've never for one day witnessed any communal dispute in EYULO to call for a presence of army formation. Army formation is a large formation, and where army is supposed to site or sit is not anywhere close to where people are living in a compact mode, because they used to test run their bullet, they used to test run their machines, they used to test run. So army need a lot of space to test run their machines and their bullet so that people do not run into casualties. So what we are seeing is a total nightmare to us. And this other section of the EYUSOYO, like you see these women, 99% of these women that are crying, they are widows. And 99% of these youth that you are saying, they are orphans. Some of them, their parents died when they were small like this. That is the only portion of land that they use for livelihood, for survival. This what they will serve our generation, is what will serve the generation of our children and our children's children until Jesus comes. Is the only portion of land. If you take that away from us, that means we are completely on extinction. They have wiped us away completely. We don't have any hope. We don't have where to run to. We don't have where to resettle. That is the only reason why we are here. So we are not here to fight government. We are not here to say, oh, government does not have right to cite a project in our community. But even in the Land Use Act, that says land belongs to government, there is always a clause, there is always a room whereby when a project is taken to a place, you have to conduct environmental impact assessments. It is through that environmental impact assessment that you know, oh, this project will be either in favor of these people or at the detriment of the survival of these people. So what I am saying, you can see it. Once that land is taken and the army, their pecking already has extended to the living settlement. And they are already proposing that everybody living in that section, they will have to vacate. Where are they vacating to? Who is planning for their resettlement? And nobody. The shocking aspect of this is where our own son from this community, whom we respect so much, the executive chairman of Urefa is a son of EYULO, and we respect him so much. We have never insulted him in this community. We live together. From 1999 up till now, that our son has been in government, it has been a collective effort, a collective contribution. We have a polling unit here in this village council that you see. We have another polling unit two polling units at EYUFO. We have another one in the other section and another one in a section of the village. Every election time, we come together, we vote and hand over all the vote to him, and he will collect political appointment. And we thank God for him. We don't envy him. But if a project like this is supposed to come to the village, personally, I am on air and I know you will see me. I have gone to the chairman's house for 2 times, asking to know, sir, what is happening? This thing is not going to help us. So the chairman gave me an excuse. But I was surprised to hear that, oh, it is the chairman that came here with a troop of army to take over that land. Next thing I heard is land belongs to government. Next thing I heard is, oh, anybody that wants to cause issue, army will start displacing them, will cause problem. No, sir, we are not here. We don't have the strength to fight government. We don't have that strength to fight government. But the only hope we have is still government, because we know that government will have a rethink over this project. I want to invite and call on our peace-loving governor, in fact, the most peaceful-loving governor that Akwa Ibom has ever produced, Governor His Excellency Pastor Omoyino, PhD, to send the Commissioner for Lands and Housing, to send the Chairman House Committee on Lands and Housing, to send every other stakeholders that are familiar with land use to come and conduct environmental impact assessment. And if they come back to say that place is very suitable for army formation, let nobody regard us as a people. But they will come and see things for themselves. They know that taking this place away from these people is taking their entire life away from them. So we don't have much to say. We don't have power to fight. But we have government, and we know government will come to our rescue.
Elder Ogeni Manuel Agaro, no village head of Agaro. So I'm lamb. Lamb, Zare very mum on who come government river. Manamani gets a team or do connect and your dog and EYUSOYO is the one for Morongi. A review corn and Muke if woe. Mommy lamb, a one take over being a rock who can't get here when it for. Don't go banana in great team again, a rock EYUSOYO and when it for Morongi. And who come government review, a quays it is go. A badu cog EYUSOYO on who come government review. Mome EYUSOYO may be a rock, Milwan, who call. Skigo Konsky, woman, maybe a banga. Erun West you call a requirement man to get a cookie, Benfre Madame, our wedding. A tomb of a go van renting the EYUSOYO. I got your walk in a cabin you wear, my own elegant rundu. Benfrem, who cassero. You wear me door, a go of Refresky, or see, Edible Refresky, so EYUSOYO neighbors who call you Yabao. Mbok, I mean, government. Chairman, who were for Ugo. Government, mbagi gesi ebiego ewe EYUSOYO. Saying, Ami didi, he benefit government. It were in the main, no. Ubangabasi.
Mkuba, Mpesiruba, Mpe, Lugu government, Mpe, Fetruba. So me say you pa. Is where for me, tenum. You got to me, if you got by me. On you, mouth. Who call kill me. I see another best one on who kill me. I'm in the Inabasique of Reville in my governor. Umena, everybody need to call. I'm not getting what you can. This is any sito. This is any delay. Umpamineb, on who go fair in. I'm not getting any, maybe never cocky there. Umba, come you visit them over. Profit look at government over. Every look at government, I'm about to office them on me over. Governor, I'm going to visit them on me over. Of every mammagra, of every federal, who pay for and one man have you pa. Woman, have you pay what to do? Always on your young man is way for me. Or not to get me a gapa. Edward in Bambok, Edward, you pambam. Can you buy it? Oh, Siamu Egger, best one. Magiti Gantasi, go for your bonukin, your son, and you can dance here, you dance. Maybe them, Miss Radam, Miss Gip, who forget on him, maybe you pa. Oh, no, get says no same. If you bet is ready, no, Magunday Gabasi, who pay over Edward in Bam. Can you mean what bono? Any family, you know. Oh, your man is with a tag over me. You never go to 40. 24. I'm a young lady carry up with 1,000. And I'm carrying we go back. Oh, you may not go away, me. Come, say, don't give me the look of them. I'm your lady carry. So, no, lady carry. Ungo, you're going to go back. I'll go over. I'm not going to go Kagaba. Oh, no, this work is every is worker. If I call your maid or your maid, Mbumena, I'm a graph visit them. I've no grass them or your go back. You have Yanayan. Manasi gonna form a or from a gray and grain. God feeding Lazum. Cavity, you see, Cavity Gabapa. Kiss one where you saw you. In a Yapuan, in a Yapaki, Kiss one God. Yarabasi. Oh my God, Tefu Gogra. Yasanagan Yamuefu. Can you find Jesus?
Admogona Garu. Is good one, you know. Ungola, Ebi. If you're the pie, maybe ain't get it. Undundu go con. Tavanon, Ngandagasinon, Neliapo, Egonel, legacy from nowhere. Esiari, it is Conu. I'm a son of my entity. I'm a good day. I'm a good day. We were. no en bo se no giso e bu web no giso el gadi bo ari agu fo mi e di tu no to agu se na gu fo en ga je nyulo ulo bi bebe mi on so na giso lillo no nyi ye so no kergi mbo ikpomo no bo ikpa president tini bombo da di nyimmo ba ka yimbo ga de ge pa de yo imeti de pop you konen imeti de ge pa yene and when I see from nowhere, you get go Cuba, Mbok, the Pem, Ubok, Games on the Mbok, and you did survive. Mbok, my end get no governor Zafno, Mbok, so make me this going on.
No village so far as you pick it. Mpama do up by in Ille, I'm going over. So do you can do it is going to government Mbok. And if I say very mo, say very up by in Ille, who come in ye, confirm on who car will EYUSOYO. In your work, canoe, cover Kenya, I mean, Mbok saying it, John, you win, I made your dream, kiss on as one, a young in Equambio money in Equambio. Tom Yemen, didn't great me. And then, even if you canoe, in your go, even a man will, even a mail, even a mail, even a mail for Mbok again. Mbok, Ukwe, Ukon, in one by a feel of as okay, a young and Bangpam Rigium. Sumba Bonambok, Sasanga Jeji, you can't
Ngre mfone yo unsirum ngumana murum nonkyong ni lo la nu lan sazera gumbie no go no bifu adia no bifu tonga na zo witness so well lungeni na federal government of Nigeria and state government omona kwaibum eva that ke in mine witmo in we for now and we welcome development a deity. In a way, we welcome a kiwi a deity. Kugurung EU lam. But on behalf of EYUSOYO, Amonu a part. Kugu EU law, EU nyokaite, ibunigunokaite, okwe on EU for, Ulogon okwe on EU lotto. Abadre yo group on EYUSOYO. Sazi igbonogu manganga make me liapu kumo uyu kaza so wa mumu me EYUSOYO on uyu ntiti ayanda ebengari that Mbok local government, state government, federal government, mama Nigerian army Mbok kom EYUSOYO menanga nyizong ekwesu that project and I came across a lot of barracks, cantonments and all that in Lagos, in Abuja, in Niger State and Kaduna State. So the barracks in Abanunu on Zumvaxu. Now, Aninga Bozon Sungo, Unlumini Nevevak, the barracks in Mala, Kugwe Kergi Kaduna to Zaria. You have NTI by your right, and the barrack is by the left. Mundogano, the biggest barrack, Amabako, Nigeria.
Kesgero ku koyingen on e gungari eri bogon eri bien ku tonga nenne ini singuni fo morung sukio ega nenne mnamrandi an kesgero ko furun suki guru nginem ega nenne sign wer ke yang e ko kon en o government mana sigon government eri biaw umbo mi mbenga governor meno so mo mi lamumbo nguguru ko mo mi nda survive on yonu kon igwe mi emege jo e wo kekere no ne ga no de gunne ko control wi e bia wi ogon wi kusula mbenga governor mbenga the federal government digezige mugu kon u kon onu on you kogi o mala and u kon e bagare into for each farm season on every in yemono no in igi du ko e bugu kon gudinia so in iri do gudinia and u guguru ko ma baganon mugu mbenga ya governor His Excellency Umeno Mbok ya widreguon orgeguon ese elungon nguko ke minyanu kwazugyo ininu njinga nwiyo ini kpon inyo nwiyo Mbok ya His Excellency ma the federal government ezuge eguon e yaga nei yikonu gugru kam ini nyonon Mbok